In the last episode, we explored an idea found in many ancient traditions, that a people do not exist as isolated individuals. They exist within layers: family, lineage, people, nation. And through these layers, something is transmitted: identity, memory, meaning, continuity. We also explored a possibility that different peoples align themselves with different collective intelligences, different symbols, different myths, different frequencies, and that the strength of a people may depend less on the deity they invoke and more on their ability to remain coherent. Because when continuity is strong, the signal is strong. And when continuity weakens, the signal weakens. But this raises a disturbing question. If covenant requires attention, then what happens when attention itself becomes the most valuable resource on earth? Throughout history, human beings gathered around fires, around temples, around mountains, around sacred stories. These places were not important because of stone or wood. They were important because they concentrated attention. A covenant is ultimately sustained by attention. A family survives because attention is given to it. A lineage survives because attention is given to it. A people survives because attention is given to it. Remove attention, and eventually continuity disappears. The structure may remain. The name may remain. The rituals may remain. But the transmission begins to fade. Because attention is the currency through which meaning moves. For most of history, attention belonged largely to local structures: family, village, elders, tradition, community. Then something changed. Humanity built machines capable of capturing attention at scale. First newspapers, then radio, then television, then the internet, then social media. For the first time in history, billions of people could focus on the same thing simultaneously. And slowly, a new altar emerged. Not made of stone, not made of wood, made of attention itself. Ancient covenants required participation. Modern systems do too. Think about it. What does a platform ask for? Your attention, your time, your emotions, your participation, your identity. And what does it offer in return? Visibility, belonging, recognition, validation, influence. The language has changed, but the structure is strangely familiar. An exchange is taking place, and every exchange shapes the participant. This is why the real question may not be, what do people worship? The deeper question may be, what receives the majority of their attention? Some esoteric traditions describe a phenomenon called an egregore, a collective entity formed through shared attention, shared belief, shared emotion, shared participation. Whether one accepts this idea literally or symbolically, the principle is difficult to ignore. When millions of people continuously invest attention into a structure, something emerges. A culture emerges. A value system emerges. A collective identity emerges. The structure begins shaping the people. At the same time, the people are shaping the structure. And now, a startling possibility appears. Perhaps modern societies are creating new collective intelligences faster than ever before. If attention creates continuity, then attention becomes power. And if attention becomes power, it becomes something worth competing for. Today, every institution wants attention. Governments, corporations, religions, media, algorithms, movements, platforms, all competing for the same finite resource. Your awareness, because whoever captures attention influences identity, and whoever influences identity influences destiny. Empires fell, languages changed, borders changed, technologies changed, yet the code survived. Why? Because it was never tied to one vessel, only one principle: transmission. Throughout history, the vessel has changed again and again. A kingdom becomes a community becomes a family becomes a ritual becomes a memory becomes a story, and the story continues its journey. Some viewers may remember an idea explored earlier in this channel: the possibility that Southern Africa functions symbolically as a source region within a larger civilizational body, a place where certain transmissions originate before moving outward through wider systems. Whether one interprets that biologically, spiritually, or symbolically is less important than the principle itself. Every living system contains places where signals are generated, places where they are amplified, and places where they are received. If there is any truth to that idea, then the question facing Southern Africa today is not merely political. It is civilizational. How does a source remain coherent in an age of distraction? How does a people preserve signal amid noise? Because every generation inherits not only a history, it inherits a responsibility for transmission. And perhaps this is why the struggle for attention matters so much. Because if attention is the mechanism through which transmission occurs, then the future may belong not to those who possess the most information, but to those who can preserve the clearest signal. The vessel changes. The principle remains. The code survives through transmission. So perhaps the defining spiritual question of our time is not, what do you believe? Nor even, who do you follow? Perhaps the question is, what has your attention? Because whatever has your attention is shaping your future. And if attention is the mechanism through which transmission occurs, another question begins to emerge. A question found in traditions across the world. Why do so many paths lead people away from the crowd and toward specific places? Toward mountains, toward wilderness, toward sacred landscapes, toward pilgrimages repeated across generations. If the code can move through stories, through rituals, through families, perhaps it can also move through geography. Perhaps some places do more than simply exist. Perhaps they help people remember. And if that is true, then we must ask, why have mountains become classrooms for initiates across cultures and across centuries? Why do pilgrims keep returning to the same sacred paths? And what exactly is being transmitted there? That is Episode 4. The Code Survived. Episode 4. The Mountain Remembers. Why do sacred places repeatedly become environments of transmission? I am the biological altar. If this video resonated with you, please subscribe, like, and share it with those ready to awaken.